Hello, all you coin aficionados out there, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we have three coins for you from the British Caribbean territories, the Eastern Group. Now, many of you know that historically there was a number of nations, a huge number actually, in the 20-something, I think, that were part of the British West Indies. And the British West Indies decided to change their currency to the British West Indies dollar, and they tried to make the essentially a British West Indies Federation float from 1958 until 1962, but were unable, partly because the countries were so disparate, they're so far apart from each other, not desperate, but different. I mean, it included what's modern day Belize, so essentially some Central American countries. It included modern day Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and then also the islands of the Eastern Caribbean state of Barbuda and Antigua, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines. So we had these really widespread islands and mainland countries, and they just couldn't all get the currency to work together for themselves. And so they ended up splitting up in 1962, and this currency lasted until 1965, at which time they started producing a new currency. Um, Rather than these were British West Indies dollars, they moved to a Eastern Caribbean dollar. You can see the front of these coins. It's going to have Queen Elizabeth II, and it's spelled out. This is one of the differences between many of these coins. It says Queen Elizabeth II, just circles right around her. There's no QE2. There's no Defender of the Faith. There's none of those other kind of things on there. They just have the first crown portrait of Queen Elizabeth II that many of the dependencies of Britain used. It is they're all copper nickel coins, and they range from this is the 10 cent here, in that it weighs 2.57 grams, the 25 cent, which weighs 6.57 grams, and the 50 cent, which weighs almost 13 grams even. These coins were made from 1955 to 1965, and then a new coinage came out for the Eastern Caribbean states. So if we look at them individually, let's just pull out the 10-cent piece. It's Queen Elizabeth II, has a reeded edge. It has the golden hind on the back, Sir Francis Drake's ship. It says British Caribbean Territories, then at the bottom Eastern Group. Inside it says 10 cents, and then there's a 10, a engraving of the boat, the Golden Hind, and another 10. And down below it, there's ocean or sea, and down below that, just above the writing on the outside, is the year 1965. In 1965, they made 3.2 million of these coins, and they kind of stocked up on them so that they could have some for use while they shifted over to the Eastern Caribbean dollar. The next coin we have is the 25-cent coin from 1965, and we'll have to change the magnification a little bit because it's bigger. And we see the same thing, British Caribbean Territories, 25 cents, 25 and a 25, 1965 here in Eastern Group. And again, this is kind of a toothed inner edge, and it is reeded. On this particular coin, the 25-cent coin, they made 1.28 million of these in 1965, and it's a copper nickel coin, and it has about 24 millimeters in diameter. And finally, we have the 50-cent coin, or 50 cents coin, because these do have the plural on them. They do not. It is not a 50-cent coin, but it's a 50 cents. On this one, we see a quite different back. It says British Caribbean territories around the outside. The bottom it says 19, separated by a seal in a 65. Here we have the coat of arms of the British Caribbean territories, the coats of arms of the Leeward Islands, the badge of Trinidad and Tobago before independence, badge of British Guiana, and the British Windward Islands. So we have all of those kind of mixed together here, and it looks to me like Britannia is on a half shell with a some horses, and they're actually, maybe she's riding somehow on them, and they're coming out of the ocean. It's a very interesting depiction. She does have the trident here, and you can see if as we blow it up the different seals and badges and coats of arms that we have for the different countries here. And you can, if we blow it way up, you can actually read the mottos as we go through and see the different pieces on it. All right, so that's all we have today for the 50-cent, the 25-cent, and the 10-cent coins from the British Caribbean territories from 1965. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel, and if you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section of the DC Coin World International Coin channel.